Hello and welcome to the Bro Chat for the People podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Peanut Butter Jelly Time. I'm looking for someone to either host or come over to my house and make me eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I did not have my first one until I was 20, and I'm looking to make up lost time. I'm willing to try whatever combinations you can think of, but you must be able to get me to eat them. Please reply with what type of bread you would like me to feed me with PB&Js on. I know this has been posted in the past, but this time I'm really hoping someone can actually come through for me. All right, let's go. All right, Tommy boy, we are back with our special Thursday edition podcast with a special guest today.
We do have a special guest.
Yes, a very, very special guest.
The she-bear himself.
The she-bear.
I have many nicknames. She-bear is one of them. I've also been called the Great White Hope, among others. A native potato, but my birth certificate reads Nathan Michael Pacer.
Michael! Why did I not know that was your name? That's so funny.
Strong name.
Tom,
Strong
what's
name.
yours? Is it Francis?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
But we don't put our names on this podcast, Danny, remember?
Oh, well, I'm...
Just the middle name.
Have I said your last name
Of
yet?
course.
Of course not.
I just gave my last name.
It's always, well, you're a guest.
It's okay, you're a guest.
It's always funny, too, how we always just say we have a special guest and then we make them introduce themselves.
Exactly. Well, we should go a step further and just ask him what he's up to for all the bros. He's a bro.
He is a bro.
Appreciate that, guys. Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you for inviting me to your being here. Very happy to be here. It's a very beautiful studio on a very nice soft couch, and they supplied me with a gin and tonic. So hopefully, as the interview goes on, my words don't slur. It's a very strong one. But
It's nothing new for the Bro Chat, I don't think.
No, it's nothing new at all.
We like to take care of our guests, you know? Absolutely.
appreciate it.
The clinking glass is a classic on the Bro Chat.
It is a trademark.
No, it's always Danny, because I don't take ice in my drinks.
Yeah, because he ain't no bitch. Oh, big news today coming out of the NFL world. Rob Gronkowski is going to be on the cover of Madden 17.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's terrible, actually. The Madden curse.
The Madden curse doesn't exist
Wait.
anymore. It hasn't happened in like 4 years. 4 or 5 years.
For the past, I think it was like 4 or 5
Really?
years. Yeah, it got broken.
It got broken, yeah.
Just so no one talks about it. That's why you know that well, I guess it makes sense since I hasn't
Cam
heard
Newton
about it
was
in a
on the
while.
cover too at one point too, I think, and he just had his MVP season.
I don't pay attention to Madden anymore.
No,
Ever since
neither do I, really.
2004.
I was just on SportsCenter, so they were interviewing him right there when I muted the TV.
Gronk is a monster. I love Gronk. I just want Gronk to be
Such a meathead.
We should invite Gronk to our
It's a
party.
big Polish
tonight.
meathead.
We're at
That would
the-
take it to another level.
It would. The Bro Chat for the People studio is hosting a bachelor party right after this podcast.
Yeah.
Anyone's invited if you're a time traveler.
Yeah, exactly. For when you listen to this tomorrow morning.
We'll figure out who's time traveling now.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. You know, Tom, I'm excited for tomorrow because we release this podcast, and then we're gonna go get brunch, and then we're probably gonna hit up the golf course and get at least 18 in.
Some real bro activities there.
At least 18. We might do 36.
I would love to see that. Yeah. I think Tom would.
It's gonna take 6 hours.
It'll take longer than that.
We slow down by the time we get to 21.
Yeah, seriously. So, Pacer, you're going to traveling the European land.
Oh yeah, back to me. I just dodged on this question. I find it very hard to answer these questions. But yeah, so I basically finished my work working for what was formerly known as Lighthouse Catholic Media, which is now Five Stones. So if you're a Catholic apostle out there, basically do service work, marketing, etc. That's my pitch for them.
5 stones, like David and Goliath. He took
Okay.
5 stones from the river.
I was going to say, like,
We need the tools to fight.
why did they go from Lighthouse Catholic Media to Five Stones? Maybe going in a different direction? Or...
I I suggested 2 big stones, but that wasn't a very couth. That was very uncouth. Excuse me.
But anyway, so just finished up work there, and then obviously we have our good friends Cody Whiting coming up this Saturday. So
well, yeah, that's what this bachelor party's for. Exactly. Shout out to Cody David. Who will not listen to this because he's very busy, and I don't think he listens anyway because he's also very busy and doesn't care.
Exactly. So but
he's a bro. He's a bro.
He's a bro. He tells a lot of people they're bros too.
Yeah.
It's about the only adjective he has.
Hey man, you're such a bro, dude. Or oh yeah, I love that guy. He's such a bro. He's like Gronk in that way. Like that's his number one compliment. Oh, Kevin Falk, he's a bro.
Oh my gosh. I thought he was the stupidest kid like I ever met. Like when I first met him.
Yeah, let's just rip on Cody.
Let's go for a while. Like
it's his bachelor party. Why not?
When he met him, he has a monotone bro voice. He's unable to have inflections, so it's very hard to read sarcasm in his voice, and that led to a few confusions, especially when he talked about the first day that we were going to go to the beach. How he had to get a pump on before going to the beach.
Yeah, he had to hit those curls, chests, and abs so that before we went to the beach, so that he would look big.
And he said the same voice. He said everything.
I know. So we were like, "Who is this douchebag? What the hell?" But turns out he was a 4.0, was a valedictorian. And,
4 years later, proved us wrong.
Now he's tying the knot with Natalie Monokulame from the Sri Lankan Wonder. Anyway, I don't know. I know she's Sri Lankan.
She's Sri Lankan, yeah. So
that's funny. Cody spent some time over there too. I imagine that was an interesting experience, meeting the extended Sri Lankan family.
I'm sure it was crazy.
Yeah.
So you got Cody's wedding, then you're going to Europe. You're gonna go backpack Europe or something. Something weird.
So I'll be going.
Something weird.
Something weird like that.
Is America not good enough for you, Pazer?
Yeah,
it's always good to get perspective as to why America is so good.
I'm a world citizen. It's really hard to apply myself to any one nation.
So we're just gonna stop this podcast right now and just kick Pazer off.
I didn't think it would be like this.
I have nation fluidity. And so I think next week
I identify as an Italian citizen. So yes.
You have to let me in your country.
You have to let me in your country.
Exactly. Yeah. So, anyways, we'll be going there with my brothers Tom and John, and we'll start in London, and I will be seeing your sister, your
two total bro chat listeners over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Our London audience.
I was going to say devout, but that's not really the right word.
Could be. Depending on where we want to take this.
Devoted listeners. Yeah, devoted.
Listeners.
Zealous listeners. Paul and Grace the Zealots.
We lost a third of our English listeners when Matthew came home.
Paul got one of his buddies to listen.
Oh, that's true.
One of his buddies is listening at Gartner over in London.
Shout out to Rob Jones.
That's his
name.
In
England, yeah.
Yeah, seriously, that's awesome.
So after you do this whole trip around Europe, and I'm sure you're going to see lots of interesting things, blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Get attacked by
it's
Muslims.
another big arch. Which one does this signify?
It's a bunch of pretty paintings and, a lot of stone, but it's okay.
Oh, no, I always find.
Are you going to go on a wine tour of France?
I wanted to.
You wanted to. So what I'm saying, hearing is no.
Lourdes or Burgundy.
We just struck Paris and Bordeaux from the list.
Why would you Spain? Why would you go to Spain over France?
Yeah, you want those cheap Spanish reds, don't you? Over those beautiful Bordeaux French wines
and cheeses.
Oh, I'm sad.
Who's executive decision?
How are you not going to Lourdes this time of year? You're about to join the seminary. Lourdes is an absolutely amazing place.
I'm also going to Rome too. So there's
okay, but that's different. Come on, Mary never appeared in Rome. There's no Marian apparition site there in the Vatican. How holy can it be?
So pretty soon we're going to be referring to you as Father Pacer.
In 6 years.
As soon as it close to 6 years, then, yes.
Well, I'm just saying we talked about one of our other guests,
Father Pence.
Father Pence.
Which actually we should call him Brother Pence now because he just got his assignment here for the summer at Bradenton Parish.
Makes him brother.
So he's Brother Pence. He's a seminary. Yeah, you call seminarian diocesan seminarians brothers.
Okay.
Yeah, you're about to be one.
I don't know what I'm getting into. I just signed on the dotted lines, and I guess I'm gonna become a priest.
Yeah.
Sorry, I simplified my
the best retirement
process.
plan out there.
That's a lot more than that, yeah. Yeah, I just did it for the benefits, A nice cold only bed and yeah. Great retirement benefits though, that's what I hear.
Yeah. That's what I hear.
I'm in it for all the wrong reasons. To be an audience out there's listening.
Oh man. So we learned something interesting about you, Nathan, last night. That you may or may not be. Maybe you can deny these rumors and shed some light on this, but you may or may not be a closeted Donald Trump supporter, and you may have been outed last night.
Outed. I don't know about the outed, but
Hashtag outlaw.
You seem to have a lot of
Georgetown.
sympathy for him. Hashtag depose Goodell.
I was.
Oh, Donald Trump's going to be the Roger Goodell of America.
Go on, Pacer. Sorry for
okay.
belittling
Sorry,
you
no,
on
I need to defend
the
myself.
internets.
With such a wide audience.
This is come back to bite me in my future. Just gonna care what I say, but I was playing more devil's advocate. I just really wanted to flush your dislike.
Oh, so you're backing off now. Now that we're in a public forum.
Now that we're in a public forum, I will say that I do not know who I will vote for yet. I'm gonna wait till I'd be silly to make my decision now. I'm not ready to make my decision who I'd vote for as of now. So.
But you have some sympathy for him then. What I'm hearing is that you haven't completely abandoned Trump yet.
My political stance is that I think if I had to choose, if I was forced to choose between whether Hillary or Trump,
But you're not
I would
forced to
choose Trump.
choose.
That's what I'm saying.
I feel like we're interviewing Rush Limbaugh here.
You know what?
Our peer and friend. Good old Rush.
I was just trying to kind of flush out the reason for
Our dislike.
Yeah,
Okay.
You're dislike of Donald Trump, and also how you're somehow not a Republican, but you vote Republican.
Well,
Just need some clarification.
the Republican Party left me. I didn't leave the Republican Party. I'm standing exactly where I was last year and the year before. And
2012.
they have decided that someone like Donald Trump is going to be the leader. And apparently, so that just pushes them that way. And I'm not part of the party anymore.
It's a sad day, It's sad. Well, it's been a sad week. Sad month. It's been a sad year.
Fine, we won't talk about this.
Yeah,
We can
let's
talk
not.
about something.
We always talk about Trump.
We always talk about Trump.
But to finish up, though, I was very sad Trump made out his way. I was definitely. I'm not going to say which candidate.
Oh, so you weren't supporting him from the beginning?
No, never.
You're not going to say who you were supporting beforehand?
Well, no, I probably would have gone for
Cowards.
Rubio.
Okay.
That's fine.
That's
Rubio,
fair.
So I was pushing for Rubio.
Yeah.
I thought he had a good chance. I think he would have a good chance against Hillary. So.
Oh, anybody would have murdered Hillary. Anybody but Donald Trump would have murdered Hillary.
That's who knows about that.
I don't even care. Lindsey Graham could have ended up getting it.
No way.
No. This is how weak Hillary Clinton is.
Dude.
Lindsey Graham could have gotten it and would have won.
I don't know about that. Oh my gosh, Lindsey Graham. Don't make me think about him. Oh, well, choosing between Donald Trump and Ted Cruz is like being shot or poisoned. Shut the fuck up, Lindsay. Who gives a shit what you think? Oh, sorry.
Are we allowed to swear on this?
Yeah, we have an explicit tag on iTunes. So warns parents.
Oh, wow.
Well, we like to place them only where they're needed. That's kind of our policy. Unless Danny feels like swearing, and then he can feel like swearing. And I have to make sure to put the explicit tag on.
It's gotten better, I think.
Yeah, for sure. So,
I used to swear a lot.
your nemesis.
Nemesi?
If it's plural, I'm trying to pluralize.
No, it's singular.
Nemesis.
Nemesis.
Your
But
nemesis.
it's a team.
Nemesis would be the plural. Nemesis.
So nemesis.
Greek Scottish.
Whatever.
If you know Greek, I think I'm correct, but I'm just.
It's not Nemesi?
No.
No.
I know it's not that.
Okay.
Anyway, getting to the point.
You don't know
Your
what
boys, your favorite boys, murdered the poor Dallas Stars last night, 6-1.
So sad.
Were you rooting for the?
Oh, you weren't rooting for the Blues?
No, I was not rooting for the Blues.
Why not? Wait.
Well, you have
Who
to
doesn't like the
understand,
Blues?
A boy from the suburbs of Illinois with family in the more southern parts of Illinois. There's a bit of a rivalry between the more Chicago folks and the more southern Illinois.
The more St. Louis folks.
The more St. Louis folks, yes. I have family members who are St. Louis Cardinal fans, St. Louis Blues fans. Actually, I have a cousin. He's trying to play semi-pro hockey right now, but I don't know how this is possible with the rivalry between the kind of the Blackhawks and Blues. But his favorite team's the Blues, and his second favorite team's the Blackhawks.
See, that doesn't make any sense. He's
It's
just
so-
saying that. He's just saying that because he
They're
wants to
winning
be
for a
picked.
while.
He wants to be picked by one of those teams.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Ooh, Tom just removed his shirt. And my goodness, I am. Well, look,
Hello.
I'm trying to. We're trying to dispel those rumors of Tom and I's potential homosexual activity or alleged homosexual activity. It's not true. But damn.
So are you? You're just rooting. Will you? So you just hate the Blues? Will you root for anybody but the Blues, or is the team that you hate more? Do you hate maybe the Penguins, San Jose, Nashville?
You hate maybe the Penguins? More than the Blues?
See, I'm just not like a bitter New England kind of sports fan. So like, when my team gets beaten, I don't like just root against,
So you're not a fan of your team, is what you're saying?
No, I am. I'm saying.
I don't understand.
Hey, I guess just a more.
This is just a difference in how we were raised. Clearly,
Yeah, it's more of the sophisticated Midwestern kind of just understanding.
Sophisticated Midwestern.
Yeah, just very sophisticated fans out there.
Yeah, those flyover states.
All those people in the Cubs bleachers are just well-educated individuals.
Oh, well, you may have been too young at the time. You were probably 11, I think, actually. You were 11 when Steve Bartman ruined the Cubs' chances. Yeah, but were you as upset as most adult Cubs fans were? The people were rioting outside of his house. He needed police protection. They were going to kill him.
I was more concerned with Moises.
Don't tell me they're sophisticated.
No, I was more concerned by Moises Alou and the rumors about how
he pissed on his hands.
Pissed on his hands for grip, and that was definitely grabbed most of my attention.
If Steve Barton knew that going into the game, he would have been as far away from Moises Alou as possible.
Yeah, so I was focused on that, but it was a very sad thing. That's actually probably when I watched the Cubs the most, was around that time.
Yeah. I don't blame you, and then they just sucked.
They sucked for a while, and now the Cubs are doing absolutely fantastic, and just the years have kind of torn on me, and I just haven't been even making the time when they're doing fantastic well to watch them. But
yeah.
So have you or have you not decided that it is time to become a Patriots fan?
I told you, I was. Believe it or not, I was rooting for the Patriots at their, the first Super Bowl. When
believe
the
it or
first
not,
watch.
why is that hard to believe? That's when they were the underdog, and they were America's team. Now all of a sudden,
all of a sudden,
turned.
15
years of glory and winning later, and the tides have turned. Nobody wanted the Rams to win that Super Bowl except for St. Louis fans.
That's true. Actually, that's probably why it's more.
Don't remind people.
It's the Rams.
What's that?
Don't remind people about that.
Okay.
It's those St. Louis fans.
Oh, poor St. Louis. We lost the Rams.
This is our defense of the Blues, is the fact that Roger Goodell has performed such atrocities against the city of St. Louis this past year that they need this. They need this more than anyone else needs this.
Yeah, they do.
Even though, it'll be interesting in the game tonight between Nashville and San Jose. Who they end up playing. I'm not really sure who I would rather have them play either. Nashville seems like they're a bad team, but at the same time they come back and win Game 7 again, like they did in the first series. I don't know. Plus the way the Blues go up 3-1 and then come back and go to 7-game series, I don't know.
We'll see.
Who'd you rather play, Daniel?
Between San Jose and Nashville,
who'd you rather have go through?
Who would I rather have go through? Well, Nashville's the underdog, and I kind of like that about them. And they seem like a spunky team with a lot of moxie.
But they are from Nashville.
But they're from Nashville. Who cares? And I've always really liked the combination of Patrick Marleau and Joe Thornton. So I think I'd have to say San Jose. And they're kind of another one of those perennially playoff teams that never does anything in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think it would be a very interesting matchup, the Blues, San Jose. I'd be down with that. But, I can't say that I have strong leanings either way. But, if I have to pick, I'll pick San Jose to go through. They might be tougher to beat though than Nashville.
Yeah. Well, or they have the Classic. It's better to have someone with playoff demons against someone else with playoff demons. One of them has to get over it, right?
Yeah, it's true.
But I'm definitely going for the Blues here.
Mm-hmm.
So we are having a bachelor party here shortly.
Yeah.
And it brings up a question that, it may be maybe people want to hear about and hear our opinions on, because there's certain different schools of thoughts about when to get married.
Yeah.
And we, our friends coming from the small Catholic university, we have a lot of friends that got married probably before they were like 22.
We have a lot of friends.
There was a lot of great friends.
Oh yeah, I love it, dude.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, the general consensus and the norm in America, and not just America, but like a lot of other cultures, Western Europe essentially,
Basically the
is to
Western
wait
world,
until
yeah.
you're maybe like 27, 28, 30 before you get married. And there are very good reasons for it. I mean, like, come on, when you see a 22-year-old guy, they're probably not ready for marriage. But obviously circumstances change and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But you have you have the idea of being financially set, which some people think, it's all about love. But being financially stable and able to support your family as a man is actually a really important thing to consider.
Yeah.
Which usually you're more set at 27. But go ahead.
Let's let Father Nate speak on the subject, the topic at hand.
Oh wow. Well, he's not like Alex here. He's not like Brother Pence. Brother Pence rejected this us calling him Father. You seem to be embracing it.
It's a talk show. I might regret this later, but I'm just gonna roll with it. No, it's very interesting. I was just say, I was gonna bring in just a little bit of kind of past trends. Like when we look at what has happened in the past, it's not as different as we'd like to think. Obviously, probably since the Victorian era, there's been a rise in the middle classes. But, it was a very common thing in the gentry of the British class to marry when they're 37, 40, at least the men, necessarily.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's not like some
Not the women.
No.
They get to be
Not-
22 and they're too old.
Exactly,
They're old
yeah.
spinstresses.
Yeah. The debutante coming out at 18 and then just on the market and
If nobody snaps her up, she's done.
exactly. And so obviously there's definitely a precedent for this kind of weight, and there's I think there's a lot of wise wisdom to that, and like, but the things you're saying, like you don't know what you're doing when you're 22, and I think that's even true. You don't know exactly what you're getting to even when you're 35, 36, 37. You might be better prepared, but like at a certain point you could never be fully prepared for marriage. And so I think more so, I guess what I would say is that you properly look over to start and see if it's right for you. And I think it depends on the individual and stuff like that. Like, just because some person get married at 22 doesn't mean that's probably the best thing for someone else. Like, our maturity at a certain point, varies between people, and so I think that's a big factor.
Yeah.
And so someone who's 22, like my brother, Tom Pacer, shout out to Tom. Is one of the most very mature person. Like, if you want to get married now, like, it would seem a sound decision. He's a very logical-minded person. It wouldn't be on a whim or fancy, and I know.
Well, my counter argument to actually my argument before is like the idea that you're more ready, maybe you're more capable of handling the situation and stuff. But you also, by that time, you have built a life for yourself, and you have accumulated things and lifestyle,
vast
and
riches.
not necessarily vast riches, but you've accumulated like a lifestyle, some things, a way of. Just kind of you're more solidified in who you are, and it can actually be difficult to essentially completely change when you marry someone to then being, having to mesh two worlds of two different people rather than, when you're young and you're still very malleable and you get married and then you can kind of build the life together is also a good thing, I would say. It is a pro for getting married young.
Yeah, and just I think just also upon that kind of interesting thing. Someone came up to me when they discovered someone close to our family when they discovered that I was going to seminary. He asked about why would you do this? Like, why don't you basically do the typical societal thing like get a job in Chicago, make money, have a lot of fun and stuff like that. And the question with that is like, I'm making a mistake, like I'm not doing the normal trend, and I don't see how like me kicking around Chicago, looking at numero uno. And the thing is, like, I'm not putting tons of money away because I'm living in Chicago. Mm-hmm. It's a ton of money. Like, yes, I'm getting a job which pays a little bit more, but like that money, I'm not saving as much. I'm just kind of kicking around, kind of living, the bachelor life. And yeah, sure, that's a lot of fun. That's a time to do it because you can't do it when you get married. But that doesn't mean it's making you more unprepared. Like you do, you're definitely going to learn some things. But at the same time, I think most of the people who are waiting until they're 20, 30 aren't like, I just need more time to get ready for a marriage. It's more like, I want to kick around, have a lot more fun in this years, and this is the time to do it. This is the only time I have it, and it just continues. They're not like, I see marriage as a very, probably a very, that's going to be my future. I'm going to start getting prepared for it. Like, and obviously that varies from person to person, like how much they put in like to their marriage and the preparation for that. Yeah. But a lot of people are just more like, I want to kick around, I want to kind of continue the fun, stuff like that. It's a lot of responsibility. I don't think I'm ready for it. Or they say, I'm not ready for it, and that might be true, but like...
But then they don't do anything to get ready for it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
This is our first time talking about marriage on here, and it's... Well, I feel like we've kind of like... We've talked a lot about the things that are going wrong in America. The youth not loving baseball and... that was a joke, but transgender issues, stuff like this. Does it come down to... a lot of people say that the breakdown of the family is what's caused such issues. And obviously it's a breakdown of marriage, not just the family. I mean, the breakdown of the family is a result of a breakdown in marriage. And is there anything false about that, or is there anything we can do about it? Or I don't know. I just want to, because like it's all well and good to spat out issues of why the country's going down the drain or whatever, but like, do you guys have any suggestions?
For
putting you on the spot.
Yeah, we didn't pre-screen this podcast at all, so this is the first we're hearing this question. And
how are you going to fix the breakdown of the family?
That's what I'm saying. So that's the question: is how we're going to fix the breakdown of the family in the West or in the world in general.
And you're talking about whether the family's breaking down, and you answered your question saying that. So now it's how we fix it.
Yep.
So
of course.
We're past the start.
I don't want to give you guys an easy question here.
Well, yeah, it's very broad. It's kind of hard to...
We want to get Father Pacer's his input on it.
Well, I think an interesting thing just from a more political perspective is, what does a family mean to the government now? Like, obviously in the past, that's... Even in a government, in our society, like that's a building block regardless of, what the values are instilled religious-wise. Mm-hmm. And so obviously there's always been incentives with families raising children because it helps drive our economy. Yeah. And my brother was telling me kind of funny stories about it was either in Ecuador or Guatemala where they have songs on the radio kind of like funded by the government, kind of like encouraging people to kind of have kids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so it's just really funny because like obviously it's necessary for or at least we believe it's necessary for the growth of society. Mm-hmm. And so the question is like. We're starting to change the incentives we give towards family, and obviously the biggest change that comes up, and obviously is giving incentives, to a gay couple. And so I think that adds like an interesting question. So now that our government recognizes and saying that like you need incentives, or we're going to give you tax breaks to a certain extent, we're going to allow for a lot of other kind of benefits and stuff like that. And the question is why? And it seems to be that that's not coming more so like what's better country economic-wise and stuff like that, that incentive. It's more so just to kind of fill the people desire that people want. Something that like kind
of
like
liberal agenda.
Kids crying a little bit and stuff like, oh, well, you want this, but like the reason
the kid's crying, so let's take it out of existence, like Bon Jovi said.
It's very crooked.
I think the only solution is... Well, not the only solution, obviously. This is more of a joke. The first thing that popped into my head was just bring in more Hispanics. They're much more family-oriented than white people are these days.
Well, Pacer wants to build a wall, so...
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh, I'm not a Trump supporter.
Oh, here we go. Oh yeah, now we got him. He's back. He's backed off.
I'm by no means a Trump supporter. I do not necessarily.
I want to build a wall.
Don't you put that evil on me? I know you do.
Hey, logical fallacy. That's a loaded question because no matter
Logical
what I answer,
fallacy.
no matter what I answer, it implies that I believe that. So either
I know, Pacer. I know.
I know.
How dare
that
you?
was purposeful.
How dare you? How dare you?
Oh, God.
I'm on my, you know.
So bringing in more Hispanics because they're more Catholic and they like families and they don't do bad
And
things.
if Republicans could get on board with this a more pro Hispanic and Latino platform, then we would win every election. We got the Hispanic vote, and in general, the Hispanic values match up much more with the Republican Party than the Democrats. But they keep voting Democrat because the Democrats are like, oh, they want to kick you out. Win the Hispanic vote, you win the presidency. And now we have Donald Trump.
No, but why wouldn't? I mean, if that's your idea, why wouldn't the Hispanics who aren't worried about getting kicked out because they're citizens, they were born here, they have citizens, or they were immigrated legally, they don't vote Republican either, not in majority at least. Some of them obviously do
because they care about their family members who aren't.
What about
they care about the policies that are against their race or races.
I don't know about that.
And you hear Adrian Gonzalez talking about it, like, I'm not going to vote for a Republican because they're trying to keep my family out.
Sounds like a very personal
thing. No, I mean,
Adrian Gonzalez makes enough money that he can get his family over here.
know.
And his extended family.
No, I mean, I just threw that out there as like the first thought that popped into my mind, just because Hispanics do tend to be much more family-oriented than white people in this world.
Should we just go back to pre-even Moses and just make it illegal to get divorced?
Hardness of your heart.
Yeah, divorce is really what's ruined this.
So Moses, this is Moses' fault, and the Jews.
Oh my god.
From the Bible. Obviously, I'm joking, guys. I love Jewish people. I love Hispanics.
The best Jewish food is made at Trump Tower Grill in New York. I love the Jews.
Oh my gosh. No, but yeah, there's definitely a lot of factors. Divorce is probably a huge one too.
I mean, it's just the lifestyle that you can.
Birth control is a huge one too. The idea that you don't have to be attached. Your fecundity isn't inhibited by a piece of rubber. So
the whole
sounds pretty awesome to me. I'm kidding.
Danny feels free. He doesn't have to worry about fathering children.
Well, I mean, ever since it became okay to get divorced and a norm to get divorced, so much so that people, I mean, a lot of them still use the till death do us part, but they usually don't mean it, and they are just kind of go into it.
Times get tough.
Yeah, they go into it. It's just assuming that they're going to be.
They've got an out.
They've got an out, or they, if this doesn't work out, I'll just go get married to somebody else because it's easy to do now. That was leading somewhere. Well, obviously, I mean, if it goes back to divorce, then it goes back to just the idea of marriage in the first place, which then obviously has been destroyed by the liberals and Obama. It all comes back to Obama.
Oh, jeez.
Obviously, it goes back further than Obama.
It goes back to our first president, who was married twice, Ronald Reagan. It's all his fault. He was the model of the family. He was supposed to be. And people saw that, and they said in the early 80s, and they said, oh, it's okay to get divorced. Boom. In the early 80s, through the 80s and 90s, divorce rates skyrocketed. I'm just saying, those are just the numbers,
Ronald
man.
Reagan's fault.
Those are just the numbers.
Unbelievable.
It's Ronald Reagan's fault.
He's responsible for the downfall of America.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd say those words.
Old Ronnie.
Yeah, but it's just an interesting thing too to think of marriage with God outside of it, what really holds you to. Obviously, I think that's.
Yeah, what holds you to marriage?
Holds you to it, a sacred vow.
I mean, it's just it's like a contract. It can be broken in under duress.
No.
Duress, yeah.
Duress. Duress is in
I don't want to clean the dishes anymore.
No, damn it, we're watching the Notebook.
You've gained 10 pounds.
You never loved me.
Well, that's something.
That's
That's grounds for annulment right there.
Yeah, and also try to understand, like, just kind of common trend is like, we obviously, from a more Christian standpoint, understand marriage is a sacrifice. Like, you should be going in with a mindset like, I'm giving up a lot. Like,
Yeah.
And it seems like a lot of people kind of get into the decision, the more sentimental value and stuff like that. Like, this is going to make things better, more happier. This is going to make me feel better. I think that's a mistake that's happening a lot of people. It's like, how does this, if it's a self-centered kind of approach to it, like, of course it's going to end in divorce, because it's not going to be fulfilling unless you give of yourself and you move past yourself, your own selfish desires. But I don't know. It's interesting. Like, I didn't even know, like, the government's like understand, like, what is that piece of paper, like, in a pure just like secular level, like, why do they want even coupling? Like, what's wrong with people having just kind of, to the government standpoint, if there's no God, why? What's wrong with people just kind of bouncing around family wise and stuff like that? Like, what's the thought?
The morals that Christianity has instilled into Western civilization is all that's left. Just the kind of the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's was built on Christian ideals. But I just had a crazy thought about the people that are called to get married are just not as it's just weaker than the people that become priests and such. They need somebody else in order to help them fulfill their vocation to get to heaven.
We know Father Pacer here is all about being the biggest and strongest, so he's joining the priesthood.
Exactly.
You want to be the biggest and the strongest, you got to join the Benedictines. Take a vow of silence.
Oh God, strong people.
Can you imagine that?
No, not really.
Never talking.
If I never had to hear you again, I think.
Wow, damn.
Wouldn't that just require him going to the Benedictines?
Sorry.
We're
Yeah,
here.
same
We're
here.
here. We've been together in this home studio all day.
This
and
Florida Brochat
this
studio.
Florida Blue Brochat studio all day, and we've just had a ball.
No, we have.
And now you're laying this on me just because we're in a public forum.
Yeah. The public
Think
forum
it's funny?
The public forum just really brings out my true thoughts on matters,
Fake it till you make it, man. Pacer, I will say this: he did crush John and I in tennis today. Although I will say John wasn't much of a help.
John was not out.
John was a hindrance, in fact.
But I expected Danny to be better in that game too. Just
I know.
Out there.
I know. But
Danny
when we started volleying, I thought
No, you did. You have a definitely better shot, I think, technique-wise. Like, you just don't have
It's
it honed in.
I just today was the first day
Sun,
in years. It's the first day in years, and I'm fat now.
There's sweat in your eyes.
Sweat in my eyes, and sweat mixed with sunscreen. And
Oh, we're gonna talk about how I gotta beat Teddy. I'm getting excited to.
oh well, how are you going to beat Teddy?
How many beat Teddy
Tonight? Teddy is coming, but the infamous Theodore Pins.
Theodore Fitz. So, good college friend, obviously. Has he been a bro chat yet? Or
Nope.
He doesn't really listen either.
Has he listened to one?
He might have listened to one or two, 3, 4.
Well, anyways, okay, we're gonna talk about how I'm gonna go. I hope he doesn't listen to this one tomorrow, because
He won't.
I have the plans to beat him in tennis. He played for the Ave Maria tennis team. It's been a great dream of mine to beat him in tennis. And I think now it's my shot.
He was a college player.
He was a college
He
player.
played college ball.
I never played any professional. I never had lessons, and so this will be a jewel to put in my crown. One to be polished at night, reminiscing upon the fact.
So basically,
Send him random text messages every month or two, reminding him how he got wrecked.
yeah,
But before I
just destroy his psyche.
Oh, he would never recover.
shouldn't count the chickens before they're hatched. But the plan though, is tonight's a bachelor party. I think there's gonna be alcohol here. I'm not sure.
Probably not.
But
No, this is dry.
at least I'm gonna try to keep.
It's Cody's bachelor party. It's dry.
I'm at least gonna make him stay up really late. I'm gonna work him out. We're gonna go do heavy squats. I'm just gonna tire out his legs tomorrow in the gym. I'm gonna dehydrate him. I'm just gonna get in his mind as much as
torturing him.
but like do what I can, and then I'm gonna play him on the court of tennis, and
And he could probably still beat you without having to move.
We'll see. We'll see.
We will see. Actually, I will go.
I'm gonna play him. I'm gonna see what's gonna happen.
So Pacer, before you go, I want to get this from you. Do the Cubs win the World Series this year, realistically, being a Chicago fan?
Or is the curse of the GOAT?
I say yes. No, I think this is the year.
I say if they don't,
call me now.
After they win 112 games and they are clearly the best team in the majors, and they don't win the World Series, then you've got to. The Cubs fans have some serious curse of the GOAT thinking to do. Like they have to find a way to get this, to break this, because it's real.
All right, guys. Well, we have to cut it a little bit short today, just because of the nature of the day. We'll be back. We'll be back, of course, on Monday or Sunday night if you listen to it when it comes out. But thanks for listening, guys. Thanks, Pacer, for coming on.
Appreciate it. It was a pleasure.
Maybe you'll become our resident marriage expert.
Consultant.
That's wow. Wait a second. That's funny on two levels.
Jeez. Okay. All right, guys. We'll see you on Monday. We love you, Colby.
We love you, Colby.
Keep listening to us, Colby.
We enjoy making your work, vacation, or baby day that much more pleasurable.
Love you, Colby.
All right, guys. Take it easy.
Peace.